Good evening and welcome to a special episode of Anime-Zing Radio here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We figured it wouldn't be right to have our final episode without everybody here. So we're doing a 1 hour special since I am probably going to be getting called for work in about a half hour. Fortunately, I have a 2 hour time frame to get there, and work is only about 40 minutes from me, so I'll still have time to play till 9 o'clock tonight. So thank you to everybody who tunes in. Of course, big thank you to our guest, Rusty Gilligan, who joined us on Sunday. Sadly, I had to miss it, but it sounded like you guys had a great time.
That we did. And to top it off, we had a visit in the chat Sunday from another good friend of the show, Jay Moores.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. And hello, Ross. Great to see you in the chat. Thank you for being a loyal viewer and a friend of the shows. Really means a lot to us that you've hung out and stuck by us through all these years. And all of the viewers and listeners out there, we really thank you wholeheartedly.
And Ross actually keeping us on track this as opposed to the derails.
Well, that's because I wasn't here.
And some very interesting thought-provoking questions all around. So thank you for that, Ross.
Very much so. And Doug, you don't know this, but me and Ross will probably be meeting IRL here soon because when he comes to visit his family, they're 2 cities over from me.
Oh, fantastic. I hope that you guys are able to get together and meet. And, when you do, of course, give Ross my best because he is a awesome person. And John Knight, hello to you as well. Another awesome viewer and listener of the show, has been for a long time. That is cool that you get to meet Ross and get some photos. Like Angela says, Pixar didn't happen.
Yep, well, she already demanded that.
I did.
But really quickly, Doug, when you were here door dashing, did they ever send you to Apex? Or did you ever go out that way? Because you had Fuquay, where we were, then Holly Springs, I know you said you went to. Apex would have been the next one over.
I don't think I went to Apex. I might have had a delivery in that area, like pick it up in Holly Springs and then deliver it in Apex, but I'm not sure.
Well, okay, because that's where his family lives, is somewhere in Apex.
Oh, sweet. So, yeah, that's not too far from you.
Nope.
You'll have to bring him some Bojangles.
Pretty much.
Someday I will make it down there to visit with you and my friend Carrie and experience Bojangles for the first time ever.
Well, it's not going anywhere, I'll tell you that. About to say, you actually got a lot of places you need to try while you're down here.
That I do. And someday we'll get Darren up to Boston, get Doug to come home, as it were.
Well, about to say, I will eventually, like right now, between right now and February are honestly the best months to do so, because March through October and sometimes November, that's when my schedule is difficult.
And unfortunately, I think I am leaning more towards doing the Penhurst Paranormal Convention in May as opposed to Anime Boston next year.
So Animazement was already out. Is Anime Boston being held on Memorial Weekend next year, or did they?
No, it is Memorial Day next year. However, what I might do, if I plan accordingly now, I could, in theory, come down for Animazement instead.
Which I know Darren could help you with lodging.
Yep, I have to say I cleaned up my office. and cleaned out the spare room.
This might be a ridiculous idea, but I have enough time to plan.
Well, look, ideas are only ridiculous if they don't work.
And Ross in the chat says, I got good news for Angela. Sign of Affection is getting a Blu-ray release here in the US. It's now up for pre-order in Crunchyroll. And John Knight says, My Dress Up Darling Season 2 has been confirmed for 2025.
And both of those shows I would recommend to most people. A Sign of
Yes.
Affection was so good.
Yep, and isn't it also getting a second season as well?
I don't remember if that's been confirmed, but
I'm
if
pretty sure it has been.
if it does, that would be amazing. If it doesn't, that where they left it was an acceptable ending.
I'm glad that Dress Up Darling is getting a second season. I know there's been a lot of talk about what's happened in the source material.
From the chat, Ross to Darren, would you be interested in having the anime figures he mentioned earlier this past year that he has no interest in? That he's had them for 10 years and wants them to go to a good home.
I don't remember which figures he said, but sure, I'll take them.
And if Darren doesn't want them, he knows that I usually take just about any figures.
Exactly. And just tell me what you want for them.
Because we know people.
Yes.
Yep.
And I have not expanded my figure collection in quite a bit. The last figure I added was the one Darren got for me back in January.
I resent that.
Almost a year.
Wait, no, I did. I'm sorry. Well, no, Darren got it for me in January. I didn't pick it up till a couple weeks ago. So
okay, that's fair.
Or
yeah, about to say I bought it at Animate, Raleigh, if I recall correctly. Was it Animate Raleigh? Or was it Anime-Zing that I bought it at? I don't remember.
I'm just giving Doug a hard time because
I think it was Animate Raleigh.
Because you bought them before Anime Boston.
Yeah, it would have been Animate Raleigh. I spent major money on me at Anime-Zing with several Rias figures, and also I think I bought, was it Darkness? I don't remember. I think it was someone from To Love Rue. Oh, and Kurumi.
Hello, Electman. Glad to see you in the chat. Sorry, I had to step away for a second, talking to the wife.
I thought your cats were. Where are your cats?
I am just sniffing the wet laundry. Haru, I'm not sure. We had a little bit of excitement here in the household. About 2 hours before, about an hour and a half before going live, my hot water heater's expansion tank decided to blow. So we've been dealing with some of that mess leading up to the show tonight. Thankfully, renting means we don't have to pay for the repairs. But it has been a lot of crap that we didn't really need.
Because there's still the inconvenience of not having water for a temporary amount of time.
We still have, the water is running, but they are, we don't have hot water.
And kind of necessary this time of year.
Indeed. And Electman is agreeing hot water heaters are not cheap. They have to replace theirs.
See, yep, I had mine go out on me about 2 years ago, right after I bought the house. And I think my guy ended up rebuilding mine. He ended up gutting it and rebuilding it. And then he also replaced my expansion tank at the time. Which reminds me, I probably need to get that thing flushed.
And
Myself.
Ross in the chat says that the figures he has is Ruby from Love Live Sunshine, Shirahoshi the mermaid from One Piece, Saber Wedding Sword Bride version from Fate, and Himiko Toga from My Hero.
Okay, as much as I don't like My Hero, I may keep that one because I actually like Toga. Because I was considering giving that one to Angela, since she's a My Hero person.
And I do like the Love Live franchise, all except for that third version they put out, which was terrible.
Well, I will hold Ruby for you then.
All right, and then we have One Piece and Fate.
I'm Saber Fate. Yeah, even though I haven't watched the Fate series, I do like Saber's appearance.
A lot of people do.
Yep.
And rightfully so.
No judgment here.
And I have not seen any One Piece, so I don't even know who that character is.
Nami?
Shirahoshi, the mermaid?
Oh, no, never mind.
I've only seen the live action, so there's that.
Mermaid.
Mermaid is from past where I have seen.
I'm trying to think. I'm familiar with some of the One Piece characters. I'm trying to think here.
To answer John's comment, I don't even think I made it that far. I think I only got about 6 or 7 episodes into season 1 of Demon Slayer before I got too busy, didn't watch anything for a month or 2, and then just never went back to it because time.
I watched 6 episodes of Demon Slayer and then dropped it because it was not any interest to me.
This does not surprise me in the slightest.
I watched season 1, and that was it. It was good. It was not great. I'd rather watch Goblin Slayer.
Goblin Slayer was amazing. Doug, you need to finish that.
Well, we're going to have a couple weeks off. Maybe I will have time. Like this week, I will probably be spending a lot of time in hotels in Maryland. So maybe I will watch that after I catch up on some of the other shows I'm trying to catch up on from the season. Ross says, Darren, she was the big pink-haired mermaid.
I think I remember that one. I think I remember that one.
It could end up being Angela's waifu. You never know.
I didn't know Angela even had waifus.
Just shaking her
only waifu was probably Maple.
Or Marin.
Nope. To both, actually, for different reasons.
Probably their age.
I am surprised neither of you.
We know it's Ruby from Ruby.
Nope.
No. Okay, well, this just turned into the guessing game. Guess Angela's waifu if she
Megaman from Konosuba.
No. I'll give you a hint. You still haven't mentioned the correct show.
Oh. Is it one we're even familiar with?
Yes.
Is it a show? Is it an over dramatic popular shonen?
No.
Also, it's Gundam.
No.
Like, can't be Psychopath, can it?
Nope.
Oh, it's 02.
What?
from Darling in the Franxx.
Yeah.
Never seen Darling in the Franxx.
Speaking of which, did you see that little tidbit I sent in the chat the other day about Darling in the Franxx?
I did not.
It was about how Machiaine,
Oh,
Too Many
no, I
Losing
did see that.
Heroines, was
I did see that.
inspired because of Darling in the Franxx.
Yes, I did see that. I'm sorry. It took
Oh,
me a
God.
second when I saw Ichigo. I'm like, who's Ichigo? Oh, okay.
The funny thing is, oh God.
He's trying to do this without spoiling it.
Yeah.
And I'm reading comments in the chat. John Knight started watching Ancient Magus' Bride and watched the 3-part OVA prequel.
I never continued the Magus Bride after season 1.
I watched one episode. Even my wife said season 2 was not as good as season 1.
And then Ross says, Darren, when Shirahoshi, the crybaby princess mermaid, cries, she summons the legendary gods of the sea. Horty Jones was after her. Luffy went Gear 5. Whatever that means.
Okay, so this was when right after Luffy obtained Gear 5, so she must have come out within the past year or two. Because Gear 5, they tried to make as big a deal as Goku going Ultra Instinct, but unfortunately, Luffy going Gear 5 did not break the internet like Ultra Instinct Goku did.
And John Knight says, according to Crunchyroll 2024, his favorite show of the year is Natsume's Book of Friends dub. Electman says that this has been the only season they've not been watching much anime because they've been working and playing games too much.
That's one thing I haven't done in a while is play any kind of game. I take that back. I opened my DS the other night and I had a digital copy of Pokemon Yellow, and I played a little bit of Pokemon Yellow.
Nah, for me, that season for me was summer, where I just went in. I didn't watch much in the way of anime because I was too busy working and playing video games.
Okay, Gear 3, that makes a little more sense.
Part of the Fishman Island arc, whatever.
Like I said, I'm familiar-ish with One Piece, not super detailed.
And if anyone in the chat wants to try and guess the waifu thing, they are welcome to do so as well.
Well, the fact we haven't guessed the show means it has to be...
The vending machine.
No. It's a show. I'll give you another hint. It's a show we have talked about a lot.
Inception.
Not recently.
Okay, so it's from Bofuri.
Nope.
Oh, it's probably your.
Bingo.
Got it.
That's only because she hasn't watched Are You Miss Servant?
Yes, because Yuki is adorable.
I think she would change to Yuki if she watched that.
Although Mikasa from Attack on Titan is also pretty up there.
I thought you were going to say Misaka the Railgun.
Makoto?
Yep. Or Makoto the Railgun.
She's one of my top.
You know, it's funny to me. I never watched Railgun or Index, but I've seen several scenes, and I'm just like, okay, how overpowered is Accelerator actually?
How what is Accelerator?
Overpowered.
It's been a while since I've seen it. I know that they had a whole Accelerator spin-off series.
Well,
I
the
think
scene
I think he is pretty OP.
this
Electman says very OP in his opinion.
On the note of completely random, are either or both of you familiar with Beyblade?
no,
I have heard of Beyblade.
I know it. I don't know nothing about it.
I know very little about it beyond that it exists. However, at PAX Unplugged, in a tabletop free play area, someone basically brought a whole setup of Beyblade and people were playing.
I can see that.
And this amused me greatly.
Oh, speaking of PAX Unplugged,
And say happy holidays to everybody, Ines.
speaking of PAX Unplugged, I know we mentioned it in the chat, but never really talked about it. That you said that each Pokemon was for that demonstration or game area was crocheted independent. Like
Yep. Because I walked by that display so many times, basically showing people how to get from point A to point B, I finally asked the people, like, hey, what is this?
I have to say, because when I saw the video on that, I was very impressed.
Oh, the video probably didn't even do it justice. It was extremely impressive in person.
I wish I could have had the time to go, but driving in Philadelphia sucks.
But is it worse than Boston?
I think
actual city, not.
I'm gonna say yes, but part of that is because I know Boston better than I know Philadelphia. Still a lot of one ways. There's still construction everywhere. You still have people who would just scream, yell, swear, and give you the bird for no reason.
Oh, welcome to Fuquay.
Welcome to the Northeast.
Welcome to the U.S.
And
I was about to say, I think construction is the new normal anywhere you go.
And while we're on the topic of PAX, Electman in the chat says, can't wait for PAX East. 100% agree. PAX East is the weekend of Mother's Day.
Make sure you stop by and say hi to Ange. I'm sure she'll be at an enforcer's table somewhere.
I will definitely be working PAX East. If all goes according to plan, I'll be at the info booth.
I don't know if any of the YouTubers that I watch are planning to go to PAX East this year. I know in the past 3 or 4 years, I've seen a lot of them.
All right. Ross, that was a good one.
More than a fear. That was my mom's favorite band.
I haven't been back to Mass since Anime Boston this year. And Electman says that they got a hotel room this time for PAX. So he doesn't have to travel back and forth from home to Boston. So that's good.
For me, it's for us, it's an easy drive to Seaport. So we stay home. And John says, John with some announcements, upcoming releases. Spy Family Code White and Season 2 Blu-ray DVD will release March 18th of 2025. Apothecary Diaries Season 1 Part 1 Blu-ray release on January 28th and Season 1 Part 2 on March 25th.
Your mic just got a whole lot more sensitive.
Yeah, it got louder.
Like really loud.
Weird.
Oh, wow.
He also said the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You Season 1 Blu-ray will release on March 4th. And Electman talking about PAX East says there's usually a VTuber panel at PAX East that Mink, Google, and a few others do. So Electman, when are you going to go up there and join them?
I think that's pronounced Goggle, not Google.
Goggle. And Ross is picking on Angela, saying, "Cool, we can finally hear Angela."
My voice is shot.
But I had to laugh because you know how on Facebook they have Facebook memories and it shows you like stuff from that day years ago.
Yep.
In the Facebook memory 7 years ago today, we did a special for Devil is a Part-Timer.
Been that long?
It's been 7 years since that, and 3 years ago tomorrow, I think we had Christy Rothrock on for the first time.
Wow. Where is the time gone?
I don't know. But I was trying to remember how long I've been on the show because I know I started in January.
I think you're on 2 years. No, maybe 3. I think Darren's been on for 4, and you came in like a year and a half after because Darren joined. So
it would have either been January 2021 or January 2022, and I do not remember which.
I don't remember. Yeah, exactly. What is time, Alexman?
Agreed.
Time just flies by so quickly. But it is hard to believe that we're nearing the end of 2024, looking ahead at 2025. I know this year we've seen a lot of ups and downs. We've seen a lot of crazy stuff, had some amazing experiences. Even on the show, we had our first ever guest from Japan, which was epic. Angela went to Japan, which she had a lot of fun, and I'm sure it was an epic trip.
I was going to say we've had a whole lot of this year was a whole lot of change.
Yep. I have to say, and Angela, while in Japan, got to meet with said YouTuber that we had.
Yep.
And Doug got reacquainted with me again.
Yep. Got to hang out for a week with Darren. I got to get down and dirty with landscaping.
Yep. And I got the pictures to prove it.
We got to see a figure make its official trek from North Carolina to Boston via Philadelphia.
And you know what? Can I do this without
breaking stuff?
Without making a mess.
Oh, that is a really cute figure. I didn't take it out of the box. I left everything sealed.
It is the most adorable thing. And now we're going to put her back in the corner of the desk.
Oh, I'm glad I picked it up.
Much appreciated.
Anytime.
And Ross says, I got my Crunchyroll holiday sale order today. 9 Blu-rays. Shiraneko, Grace of the Gods 2. Shikamori, Insomniacs, After School, Just Because, Beast Tamer, Restaurants to Another World 2. And finally, More Than a Married Couple, But Not Quite Lovers, and Summoned to Another World for a Second Time.
More Than a Married Couple was... I'm sorry, I really enjoyed that one. It was actually quite surprising as to how good it was.
That was the one where they were forced to be a married couple in the classrooms, right?
Yeah,
together.
And the only way they could switch was if they had accumulated so many points.
I know I started it, but I don't remember if I finished that one. I know Grace of the Gods was really good, seasons 1 and 2, and Restaurants to Another World, season 2 is like season 1 was good. Season 2 was so much better because it actually had like a storyline that was building up to an interesting climax in season 2 that I didn't see coming. So that one pleasantly surprised me. Beast Tamer also was a very good series.
Mm-hmm. Now, Ross, I am curious. Were the prices as good as any of Right Stuff's anime deals? Considering they bought Right Stuff. I'm gonna assume no, but you never know.
And he says all he needs is season 1 of Grace of the Gods.
That reminds me. That's another anime I need to watch. Not Grace of the Gods, but Sunday Without God. My friend went on a rant about that one, and I forgot about it.
So we are good. And looking through my emails, I'd gotten a thing from Crunchyroll as revisiting the Crunchyroll Anime Awards thing, and voting begins April 3rd. So coming up in April, we will probably do a show where we will go through all the nominees and give our opinions of who we think will win in which categories and stuff like that. That could be a fun and
Just
show.
like we did last year, where we complained about half the nominations and how the shows were overrated and how the underrated shows get no love.
Yep, yeah, and it'll probably happen again because Crunchyroll.
Give me just
because hey, award shows be like that.
Yeah, as much as I had a bad taste about anime trending because of my history with them, they were more accurate in terms of the anime community's opinion.
And I will admit that I tend to watch and enjoy some really out there underrated stuff to go along with my overrated shonen that you all like to give me a hard time for.
Which reminds me, speaking of out there stuff, you need to go back and watch Dora Hetero.
I have a laundry list of things I need to go back and watch.
I'm just saying, that was one of the most trippy anime I ever watched, period.
But was it trippier than something along the lines of Serial Experiments Lane?
Yes. I haven't seen Serial Experiments Lane, but let me just tell you, Dora Hetero was trippy, and it was actually quite good and flew under a lot of people's radar.
Hello, Jay.
And he's back for more.
Again, I want to wish it
back again.
I hope everybody does have a wonderful holiday season out there. I did just get my call to action. So again, once the show is over in about 30 minutes, I have to pack my gear and head out the door and start my 12-hour work night. Jay says he never learns. No, you do learn. That's what we love about you, is that you're always learning, always expanding your knowledge, and always creating more amazing things.
And willing to listen, to accept and listen to feedback, which is key.
And which most companies don't do.
Exactly.
And hopefully in 2025, we'll be able to do another playthrough of Faye. I think that would be fun to do another one of those live streams once, as long as we're all around, and I know for a fact I can be around.
My caveat with that, I want to build my own character.
Dangerous.
And John Knight in the chat said Freerun won IGN's Best Anime of the Year.
That's surprising.
Unsurprising, I'm not sure.
I actually been caught up on the manga because I did find volume 1 of the Freerun manga. I actually bought it off Crunchyroll, and I have now read all 3 volumes that I had on the return train. Actually, like last night / this morning, we were stopped at a signal for 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours, and I read an entire volume. I'm reading, Angela. Be proud.
You know what?
Normally do.
You know what manga I am slowly working my way through on my Kindle?
What's that?
Mhm.
Currently working my way through Black Clover.
Oh wow.
I started this on the flight to Japan, and I am currently, and basically because of how the PD how they went onto my Kindle, I had to basically combine a bunch of chapters into manageable chunks.
Speaking of Kindle, did you ever look at either of the manga I sent you?
Um, they might have been added to the backlog of manga.
Also, how are you viewing the manga on your Kindle? You can answer that however you want.
It is a brand new Kindle. It actually displays one page at a time. I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for.
Nope. But I will leave it up to my imagination.
But black and white does not do color.
Well, about to say, every now and then you'll get a colored manga page, just like with light novels. Every now and then you'd get an illustration page, but most of the time, 99% of the time, it's black and white,
And
which is
Jay, one of these times you'll do a face session at a game store I can get to on a day I have free time.
what's free time.
Well, by this definition, when I'm not at work and don't have other obligations.
So tonight.
I might have Christmas off.
And Ross says not better than Right Stuff prices.
I figured, because Right Stuff, when they had their sales, there was sometimes I was buying anime DVDs or Blu-ray for like 80 to 90% off. Because I mean, Doug, you remember the hauls I got, right?
Yeah, I mean, I never really did the Right Stuff sales, but I did once do the Sentai Filmworks sale.
And their discounts were pretty good as well. Because didn't I go right behind you and do the same thing?
Yeah, I bought 10 DVDs for like $100, and you went behind me and bought like 25 DVDs for like 200. And Jay says, Angela, can you recommend a game store and they can find a time that works?
I will talk to a few friends of mine, and actually see what we can do. Because I have an idea. It's just a matter of getting the correct people in the same place at the same time.
And setting up the cameras and live streaming.
That also requires the store to be okay with that.
They're going to turn it into like a trash taste special where they just, set everything up, have cameramen, and
That would involve getting permission from everybody involved.
yeah.
But
definitely check out all of Jay Moore's work. He has terrific comics. He's got the RPG game that we have played live on the stream. Terrific artist. Look for him at conventions next year. I know he'll be traveling to quite a few. He's a regular at like Saratoga Comic-Con and stuff like that. Jay also says that he could host a game if he's not too far away. I think Jay is in Wareham.
ooh,
So it's right down on the Cape. I think last time Jay was on, we were talking about this.
I think you are correct. Again, I will see what we can do for next year.
I know that before the show started, Darren and I were talking about 2.5 Dimensional Seduction. I have finished the series. Darren is only about 3 episodes in. I think it's one Angela should give a trial to. I don't know if the storyline would hook her or not. Be the reason that I say Angela, to give it like a couple episode trial is because of the cosplay aspect and things of that nature. It does have some of the tropes that I know would drive you nuts, but I'm not sure if the storyline that, in my opinion, is really good would be enough to keep you interested. But I think you would enjoy that. Also, You Are Miss Servant, I think you would really, really enjoy, because that is a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and I put Yuki up there on the same level, if not a better assassin character than Yor.
Yep. And are you caught up on that?
I am caught up on Servant
Them's
as well.
fighting words.
No. If you had to pick in terms of professionalism, or based on the skill you've seen, Doug, which one would you say is a more skilled assassin?
Yuki. If it came down a fight between Yor and Yuki, I think Yuki would win.
And Ross agrees with me that Yor is better.
I still say Yuki.
And Ross also, a comment we skipped from Ross, going back to something Darren said about More Than a Married Couple, which main girl do you root for? Do you root for the Geiru or the childhood friend?
The Gyaru of the childhood friend. Honestly, what's her name? Dang it. Give me a second.
While Darren's thinking, Ross also said 2.5 is getting a season 2, which I'm excited about. We're doing a lot of comparisons between 2.5 Dimensional Seduction and...
Got it. Sorry, Ross. Akari is definitely my pick. Look, I get it. I'm normally for the childhood friend route, but Akari pulled a complete 180, and I'm sorry. She won me over.
Ross in the chat said Akari ? Just as you were getting ready to start talking. So
yeah,
you are correct, Ross.
I remember her name right as he said it. But yes, Ross, Akari was just too much. Even though that scene between him and his childhood friend is legendary. You've probably seen the meme on the internet with them making. I think they were working. I can't remember. It was a coffee shop. They were working something food related, and it got very suggestive.
I don't know what's going on in the TV behind you, Angela, but I just happened to look over your shoulder and saw a hot dog, turkey. They're showing a black chicken. I'm like, I don't know what he's watching.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
But I started laughing because it distracted me.
Yeah, about like the Muppets.
It is a Swedish Chef. I'm not sure what food video this is, but it is definitely a food video.
How it's made?
Which might just be weird food.
And Ross says that he's still leaning towards the childhood friend, Darren.
Yeah, initially I was too, but like I said, Akari just won me over. And honestly, in the general sense of things, like, and we could start a whole topic on this, but how do you feel about these like trial relationships that you sometimes see in these anime? Because that's not the first anime to do that. There's like several anime where in school you have a temporary partner assigned to you, basically.
Okay. I kind of want to end the year on a end of the year on a high note for the show. But here's a question for everybody. What was the best and arguably worst anime you watched of 2024?
You're going to have to give me a minute. I got to go remember what the heck I watched.
I pulled up my anime list to do exactly that.
And in regards to Darren's question about, the mock relationship stuff, I don't know how I feel about it. I think because that's something we don't see here in the US, it's tough to fathom being put in that situation. So, I think it's tough to really grasp that. So I don't know how to feel about it. From what I've seen, it seems like the most ridiculous couples are put together and things of that nature. But the shows, I don't think, from what I haven't seen many of them. I think I've seen maybe one, and it wasn't horrible. And now looking back through the shows that I have watched in 2024 as to what I would consider the best and what I would consider the worst. I think the worst, because there was a few shows I started but never finished because they were. I think the only show I really dropped because I just thought it was extremely stupid was Dear Friend. So that might be my nomination for the worst that I watched. Not that it's a terrible show, I just didn't care for it. As far as the best, there was a lot of good shows that I personally enjoyed. I'm leaning towards one, but I want to check out everything else that I have watched before I really go towards that one. And the one I'm leaning towards might surprise people. What about you, Ange?
Well, first we've got comments in the chat. Ross, best was Grandma and Grandpa Turned Young Again. Worst, Love Indivisible by Twins. John Knight says best was VTuber Legend Dub and 100 Girlfriends.
100 Girlfriends was this year?
At least one season was, I think. For me, I'm gonna say the two best of this year for me, honestly, would be Bartender and A Sign of Affection.
Yes, dude. I hate autofill.
And well, as far as worst goes, we only dropped a couple this year, and they were early on in the year.
Damn. My anime list already put most of 2024 in the archives.
Yeah, so scrolling through and looking at all the stuff that I have watched, I think I'm going to put the best show that I watched is Bartender as well.
Oh, I know my best show from this year. Definitely. Anybody want to take a guess?
Konosuba Season 3.
Nope.
What's it hides her feelings in Russian?
Nope.
Alia?
Nope. There
That
was
was an
another
honorable
girl.
mention. That was a good one.
It was good. Nope. And it's not gushing over magical girls either. No. What show was I talking about at the beginning of the year? Because season 1 was good, but season 2 was the clincher. And it's still, I just checked its score on my anime list. It's at 8.78.
Oh, I don't remember.
No, not Hokkaido Gals.
And
Yes, I have it on my anime list, John.
so do I, for what that is worth.
And Hokkaido Girls is only a 703. Gushing
So
Over
what is it?
Magical Girls has a higher score than
So what is it, Darren? Tell us.
Danger's in My Heart.
Yup. That is one you talked about a lot this year. And Doug,
Because the relationship between those two is so incredibly wholesome, it rivals that of Tony Kawa's relationship. It's beautiful.
Doug, do you have a My Anime List account? Says John.
I think I did it one time, but I haven't really used it in so long. I don't even remember what my login would be. Even though I pop on there all the time to look at like the anime lists and things that are coming up, I should probably do one. But I know if I was to sit down and go through every show that I know I have watched, that would take me a few months.
See, I don't. I only have a few. I only have a little bit of that backlog. I just kind of use it to track what I'm watching season to season.
As far as my worst show, that's kind of hard because there wasn't any in particular that I really hated this year.
The one I genuinely didn't like and stopped after, I believe it was 3 episodes, was Buchigiri.
I also have the issue of there's a lot of times I go back and rewatch stuff, or I'll watch shows from previous seasons or previous years that I hadn't seen. And I'll sit down and watch with my wife. So shows like Apothecary Diaries, I don't think that came out this year.
It did not, because if it did, that would have been at the top of my list. It was a fall 2023 start.
That's what I thought.
I don't have a worst per se, but I'll tell you the most inane, weird shows I've seen this year. Care to take a guess on that one, Doug?
Weird show?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Shika noko 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 dashitanta?
Oh, Dear Friend.
Yes.
To answer your guys' question about what's going on the TV, it was History of Chicken Nuggets.
Okay.
And to answer John's question, no, I have not actually made any friends on my anime list. Like I said, I primarily use it to keep track of anime I'm watching because we watch so much that I forget. And then when we do things like this at the end of the year, I don't remember January or what was released when, because I actually did consider because I wasn't sure when Apothecary Diaries was, but it was a 24 episode season that started in fall of 2023.
Yep.
And I have used my anime list, but that's adding people as friends that I currently know. As in, I asked for their my anime lists and I added them that way. I've never actually interacted with people through my anime list. even though I know you can.
Yeah, same.
I know coming up winter season, a lot of season 2's coming out. My Happy Marriage Season 2, 100 Girlfriends Season 2, Apothecary Diary Season 2, more Dr. Stone, Solo Leveling Season 2.
I kind of regret not keeping up with Dr. Stone, but
Windbreaker Season 2 as well.
Toilet Bound
Hanukkah.
Hanako-kun Season 2, Unnamed
Yep.
Memory Season 2.
Yep. More Grisaya. So it's technically a second season because I think Phantom Trigger's already released stuff before. Hishura Season 2. Don't know what that is, but okay.
Oh no, I was wrong.
What about to say, since we didn't really get to talk about yours, Doug, what do you plan on watching for winter?
For winter, Apothecary Diaries, of course, because season 1 was amazing. I'm excited to see what happens in season 2. 100 Girlfriends, because I sat through season 1 and I'm curious to see what kind of stupidity season 2 brings.
Yep.
Possibly Toilet Bound.
Okay.
I'm interested in checking out I may be a guild receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time.
So that'll probably be the one anime all three of us share.
Yeah, it might.
Curious about this Welcome to Japan Miss Elf, because it's kind of, it almost feels like a reverse isekai. The elf girl's cat is secretly an S-ranked monster. Could be interested. So that's a possibility. Outside of that, it could all depend on when I'm stuck in a hotel and I've caught up on everything else I'm watching. Okay, well, let's just put something on and see if it's any good. That's how I kind of watch a lot of stuff.
So, on that case, watch the anime coming out about a hotel.
What's that one?
It's called Tasokare Hotel. Engulfed in Twilight. It exists as a place between life and death. Okay, so about like a death parade.
Darren, we're both going to be watching Honey Lemon Soda, correct?
Yes.
And going through my list, I just realized I don't actually have an overrated shonen on my list for winter.
Is there any overrated shonen even airing this winter?
I mean,
that's the real question. Because I'm not seeing any.
Unless we're going to count One Piece.
Nope. And Dr. Stone's definitely not overrated.
Bleach maybe.
And Solo Leveling, is kind of mainstream. So, I mean, but it's manhwa original. I have a hard time with calling anime from material that was produced outside of Japan, but at the same time, I get it.
On that note, we are about out of time for the show tonight, since I do have to work. Again, I want to thank Darren and Angela for joining me tonight. Definitely happy holidays to you guys. Happy holidays to all of you awesome viewers and fans. Thank you to everybody who's come into the chat and commented and talked with us, not just tonight, but throughout the year. I hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday season, whether you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever your beliefs are. Hopefully you're able to spend it with family and friends. Hopefully it's a safe time for you. Thank you, all of you who listen on all of the podcast platforms out there, anywhere in the world. until 2025 when we come back. And I believe, looking at the calendar, I think it's January 5th is supposed to be our first show back. I hope
And
everybody
about to
does have
say,
a
and
safe.
I will hopefully have spoils from Animate Raleigh. So because that's the weekend it happens.
So Darren can give us some updates of what Anime Raleigh brought. Make sure you chat with a lot of the cosplayers, get some photos, talk to the voice actors.
I'll try because I don't
Continue
know.
to have your fun.
Gotta see what days I can go.
Yeah. Again, have a wonderful night, everybody. And until next year, this has been Anime-Zing Radio right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Have a good night, all.
Good night, everybody.